I'm a back, suckers. And before we continue, I just want to say sorry for the fact that this is no longer Superpower Month. Because of the speed I'm going at making these videos, it's probably going to take longer than a couple months to finish all 5 of them. So let's just call it a series, shall we? Now back to the topic at hand. I'm going to talk about a popular thing in not just video games, but in life in general. The water. Let's be honest, the blue planet we live in is a terrifying place when you think about what creatures that have yet to be discovered, and even things that have been discovered, live in its depths. And when you consider that the Earth is about 70% water, and over 90% of the water belongs to the ocean, you need to wonder what's left to find in the deep blue sea. Now let's look at the best of the characters who can control the terror we call water. Like last time, I am including characters from games I haven't played, and one per franchise, so yeah, you get the general idea. So let's just get straight into the deep end, shall we? The Pikmin series is famous for its bizarre creatures, and let me tell you, Gulax from the original Pikmin is definitely no exception. And I mean no exception. Now I know some people would expect me to put the Water Wraith on this list, but he doesn't really use water to his advantage, and he's actually not made of water. Gulax, however, is the real deal. This thing might seem similar to those of you who've watched The Blob, but for everyone else, you're probably thinking this is one of the most bizarre appearances for a creature in the Pikmin series to date, and, well, yeah, it is. Since it's a water creature, it is immune to both red and yellow Pikmin, meaning it can only be killed by blue Pikmin. Its weak point is its brain and pearl in the centre of its body, kind of like Morpher from Ocarina of Time. It's not exactly the toughest boss in the game, but it's definitely one of the more creative due to its concept and being capable of splitting into multiple Gulax. Sadly, this creature isn't necessary to beat in the actual main game story, considering it doesn't have any ship parts. In fact, it'll only appear on certain days on the impact site. You could say it's one of those optional bosses to test your skill. Still kinda sad it never appeared in Pikmin 2 though.
Power up complete.
I love Flood. I'm not exactly sure why I like him, I just really like this little guy. Being another one of Professor Elvingad's brilliant devices, you know, the guy who made both Luigi's Poltergusts and even Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush? Yeah, that guy. His real name is the Flash Liquidizer Ultra Dowsing Device, but that's just been narrowed down to just Flood. Flood is a robot who contains knowledge of Delfino Island and its history, but that's not the reason Gad made Flood. The real reason he made him is because he wanted him to be a cleaning robot to clean the world of muck and graffiti. And guess what Mario has to do in Super Mario Sunshine? Flood first appears at Delfino Airstrip, where you must use him to clean up the Delfino Island that Shadow Mario has placed graffiti across. Mario can use Flood for 4 different techniques. His first is a simple squirt of water, which he can fire straight in front of him. The other is his hover nozzle, to fly upwards for a short time. And he also uses a rocket nozzle, which basically does this. They're all great and all, but my favourite by far is the grey nozzle, which turns him into a super turbo jet robot of death, which lets him move at an insane speed, but at the cost of very poor steering and cost of a lot of water at an alarming rate. Sadly, Flood only appeared in Sunshine and was never seen again until we saw Flood being used in Brawl. I hope he returns again. I like Flood. I really like Flood. It seems that every RPG has a mage-like character to fill the role of the magician, and Mia from the Golden Sun series definitely fits the bill for a decent mage sort of character. I'm probably wrong here since I haven't played any of the Golden Sun games, but from what I can gather, Mia was raised in a town in the snowy northern region of the continent Angara. Her, along with a fellow Mercury adept named Alex, originally living with her, are 2 of the last 4 known living descendants of the ancient Mercury clan, who once lived in this region in the winter's ancient past. As I said, Mia's element is the Mercury element, which in Golden Sun language basically means a specialist of the water and ice element. She is solely a special base fighter, considering she doesn't use any physical base attacks with strong attack power, but Mia is near essential as a team's healer because of the water tier class. Mia is the greatest healer in both Golden Sun and the Lost Age. She starts off with a single target Ply Synergy theory, so when you manage to get her at least 4 Mercury Jin, set onto her and gain the power of Wish Synergy. This is great for restoring large amounts of HP to all current battling adepts at once. Not to mention, she helps Isaac walk on water. As a fighter, Mia's pretty bad, but as your regular medic would prove, healing is not a bad thing, especially in an RPG. Princess Ruto from the Zelda series may be a bizarre choice for number 7, but what the hey, I have my reasons. In her first game in Ocarina of Time, Ruto didn't really do much in it other than being a damsel in distress inside Jabba Jabba's belly. Then she returned 7 years later when she was revealed to be the sage of the Water Temple. Then she never appeared again until the final dungeon. Then she returns as a playable character in Hyrule Warriors. Now this is much more like it. Most of Ruto's attacks involve her using hydrokinetic abilities in a magical sort of method with various attacks. In fact, one of her abilities involves her floating in mid-air to move like a dolphin to speed across the arena. Most of her water magic-based attacks produce natural water occurrences like whirlpools, maelstroms, and miniature tidal waves. Hell, another method of attack is taking a note from this Pokemon's book by making her dive into a waterhole she creates personally and attacks them a few seconds later. But her overall coolness factor goes in her guard break, and don't even get me started on her special combo. Wow! She's one of the more complex characters in Hyrule Warriors. In fact, I've seen a couple people who don't like playing Ruto, but that's just people's tier list. And everybody hates tier lists. And now we're going to a game series that you're all probably very familiar of. It's League of Legends. I may be new to League of Legends, but I do know a couple good champions within the game. There are ones I like, such as Sivir, or Syva, or whatever you want to call her, but today we're going to look at a character who I mistook for a Skylanders character. Fizz. Known as the Tidal Trickster, Fizz is an assassin who lived in a city beneath the mountain in the sea, and was part of a species of creatures that we don't know much about. Fizz liked to get out a bit just to escape the village and go on his own little adventures. But when he came back one day from an adventure, his village was gone. And that's essentially why Fizz joined the League, simply to find out what happened to his village. But that's his backstory and not his capabilities. Fizz has a lot of abilities which help him produce water-based attacks. For example, Erkin Strike, which causes Fizz to move a certain distance in the direction of the target enemy unit, dealing physical damage equal to his total plus bonus magical damage. The physical damage applies on hit effects and the magic damage applies on ability effects. And with his enhanced attack, Chum the Waters, Fizz can do extra damage to the chosen opponent. In fact, Chum the Water is an attack which works on all of Fizz's attacks. For example, Playful, which will slam the ground below him, dealing magic damage and slowly nearby enemies within 330 range for 2 seconds. If Fizz has Chum the Water on at this point, he will be able to slow the opponent by about 60% longer. For those of you who are wondering, Chum the Water involves Fizz throwing a fish in a line which will bind itself onto the first enemy champion it hits, slowing it and increasing Fizz's damage against it by 20% for 6 seconds, excluding Chum the Waters. A shark will come out from the earth and eat the fish after 1.5 seconds, regardless of position. So yeah, Fizz is essentially Aquaman, and that's fine by me. I have actually heard a lot of people which have considered Fizz overpowered, but like I said for Ruto, who cares about tier lists? In the Hoenn Depth, a creature of enormous size and has the power to create massive rain clouds that cover the entire sky, which will bring about torrential downpours which can expand the oceans. It will also grow twice its size every day. For Kyogre. Anyways, Kyogre is easily one of my favourite Pokemon introduced in Gen 3 of Pokemon. And when you consider the Pokemon that were introduced in this generation, that's something to be proud of. Kyogre is one of the 3 members of the Weather Trio, the rest being Groudon and Rayquaza. He's usually a peaceful guy, but when he crosses paths with Groudon, he can cause storms which can produce tons of rain just to battle him. Most of his attacks use his rains. His move pool involves Water Spell, Muddy Water, and Origin Pulse, and a couple other water-based attacks and even a couple ground moves. If he's capable of using Rainy Day and then performs Thunder, he is guaranteed to hit his foes. But just make sure it's not Groudon, because he's ground type so it won't affect him. And this is all capable thanks to his signature ability, Drizzle, which constantly keeps the location to be wet, even if a Pokemon like Psyduck uses an ability like Cloud9. And his abilities are powered even more when he has a Blue Orb, which will transform into Primal Kyogre, increasing his attack, special attack, and special defenses. No matter what Game Freak decide to do with the Pokemon series afterwards, Kyogre is definitely a Pokemon who will reign over the Pokemon series for a long time to come. While I'm still on the subject of rain, Rain first appeared in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and is one of the more creative characters in the franchise. Rain is an Edenian by blood, and the son of Edenia's protector known as Argus, who eventually abandoned his son. Now Rain is an orphan who works for Shao Kahn in his invasion of Earthrealm. In Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, he was capable of using a bubble attack, which will not only cause damage to his foes, but also give him the power to lift them up into the air and do whatever he wants with them. He was also able to control thunderclouds to attack them, but that's more using electricity than water. Sadly, he never returned again until Armageddon. Then he returned in Mortal Kombat 9 as DLC, where he can use his weird Force Choke attack again, but this time he traps them into a bubble, and then performs Hydro Pump rip-offs. His fatalities are a bit odd, one of which has him pumping water into his opponents and making them explode from the inside out, while the other sees him using bubbles as a method of destroying his opponent from the feet upward. I'm not sure whether to count these fatalities as hilarious or just plain disgusting. He's not the most brilliant Mortal Kombat character, but I like to see him get into a good fight every now and then, and that's why Rain reaches 4th.
Rain wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Leviathan from the Mega Man Zero series may be more of an ice user than a water user, but you can manipulate ice through manipulating water, especially if it's frigid water, so she qualifies. Leviathan was created from X's DNA after the Maverick Wars from the X series to clean the world's oceans, and her talents are based off X's capabilities of underwater combat. So sometime later, she became a military general of Neo Arcadia, commanding the Meikei Army, Neo Arcadia's navy force. Naturally, Leviathan is a Reploid who excels in underwater combat. While underwater, her high speed gives her an edge in battle due to her maneuverability, and as an aquatic Reploid, she is capable of sustaining herself underwater for long periods of time. Think of her like Splash Woman from Mega Man 9, only with a bit more role in the story. She is capable of manipulating ice greatly to her advantage, specifically underwater, and she can also perform a whirlpool attack thanks to her trident-like weapon. In her armed phenomenon form, Leviathan's armor expands to become a submarine in the shape of a gigantic manta ray, becoming much more fitting with the name Leviathan. Leviathan's fighting style is more indirect than the other 3 Guardians, and she tends to prefer attacking from a distance with her element, underwater, then engaging in close-range combat attacks with her weapon. Her X skill is to summon an ice dragon. Alright, fine, it's true that she usually focuses on the ice element more than the water element, but she is always fighting underwater, and if you enter the arena where it's dry, she arrives and she will flood the scenery to fit her battle capabilities. And as Link's proven, you don't need to be a specialist in one weapon to be on these sort of lists. If DMC Devil May Cry taught us anything, it's this.
You don't fuck with with a god.
This was proven in words by DMC, but I think it was proved in actions about 13 years earlier in Sonic Adventure. Chaos is the Chow God. You know, those cute little guys who you can raise in newborn in the remakes of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. So how can something like these cute little guys have a god this devastating? Well, as it turns out, some 4,000 years prior to the events of Sonic Adventure, Chaos lived happily with the Chow and an echidna called Tikal at the altar of the Master Emerald. But then Tikal's father, the Great Pacanamic of the Knuckles clan, wanted to use the power of the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald to defeat the Noctinus clan, who you find out about in Sonic Chronicles. So yeah, after Pacanamic killed the Chow, Chaos got a little bit pissed, killed the Knuckles clan, and then got sealed away inside the Master Emerald by Tikal. Now he's back, and he's still a little bit pissed. Chaos will change shapes depending on how many Chaos Emeralds he has, but by default he usually keeps the form of a water-based creature. Chaos 0, 1 and 2 start off as humanoid creatures, which can liquidize and shoot water balls. Chaos 4 basically turns into a fish and can fire energy waves and water explosions. Chaos 6 learns new attacks, but no water-based ones, and then when he's Chaos 7, he turns into Godzilla. Now he can fire a water laser to destroy the egg carrier in one shot, and can control enough water to basically cause the day after tomorrow all over again. And yes, I know he appeared in Sonic Adventure 2 as a playable character, but he only knows hydrokinetic attacks through his special moves, one of which can either kill the opponent or confuse them or whatever, while the other basically freezes time for a good half a minute or so. And he's a fighter in Sonic Battle as well, where you can liquidize into a blob to escape, stretch his arm like he's eating a gum-gum fruit, and even press his body into the ground where they rise up from the other side of the arena. Sure, it takes him a decade to get anywhere, but when he gets there, he can fight very well. Chaos is easily one of the best villains in the Sonic series, and this is what happens when you
Fuck with a god.
Oh, enough already! Oh, Damex. The amount of people who have received horrid memories from Kingdom Hearts 2 are usually brought up by this guy, with Atlantica being the remaining percent. Demyx is member number 9 in Organization 13, and represents the water element of the organization. He's a bit of a wimp and an idiot, but take him lightly and you will die. Going back to what I said about Axel and Top 10 Pyrokinetics list, each member of the organization has a unique weapon. Demyx's weapon of choice is his arpeggio, a type of sitar, which is a stringed instrument used in a lot of Indian music like Rag Desh. Not only is this sitar made of water, but it has the power to let Demyx fire bubble-based attacks and even ride across the water at fast pace during his fight with Sora. But his most infamous attack? Oh boy, his infamous attack. His clones forces Sora into a mini-game-like thing where he must destroy all the clones within a time limit. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, until about 50 or more of the fuckers appear on screen, which you have to kill in less than a minute. And what happens if you fail? You die. That's it. You die. Instantly. Just ask the fiery joke how that feels if you get killed by these clones. Unfortunately, Demyx is one of 4 Organization 13 members. We don't even know who they're the Heartless of. We know a lot from his personality, despite the fact he's not supposed to have any emotion, but hardly anything about his backstory. What could his name be? I don't know. I'm the Sacred Swordsman, and I seriously hope that a lot of Organization 13 members return for Kingdom Hearts 3. Or at least find out who their somebody is. See you next time. Good night.